What's up YouTube, Crispy Charizard here. Today we'll be talking about the leaks that have been going over the internet. It's very interesting because it's that time of year again, or that time of every couple of years again, when the new generation or new game of Pokemon is not released, but it's approaching that time. And leaks are just starting to pop up. They're not going rampant yet, they're not like going crazy, but leaks are just starting to pop up, and some of them may even be real, but that's what we're here to discuss today. Now, before I continue, I'd like to remind you all to help out the channel by liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing with a friend, anything that would help me out. I'd greatly appreciate it. And that being said, let's get started. So, for those of you who have not been keeping up with Pokemon leaks and the latest Pokemon rumors, there have been rumors going around that the next Pokemon games, on the Switch of course, is Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Now, they haven't been confirmed yet, unfortunately, and I'm going to be discussing not only what I've heard about them, but if they're actually believable, to me at least, and not only that, but if they're actually good, even if they're real. Because, of course, not all Pokemon games are popular to everyone. Some are more popular than others, and this is probably one of the more unique happenings. The first thing to discuss is the transition from the Nintendo to the Switch. Everyone has been aware that the Switch is gonna be the new Pokemon console from now on. I'm excited about it. It is a very significant change, very serious, because it's going to make every game from now on different than previous games. Now, I could make a different video discussing all of the mechanics that could be changed in new Pokemon games, but that's not what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss the rumors and the leaks. Now, I don't know exactly what's real and what's not, and that's the whole point of rumors and leaks, but for now, I'm going to take everything with a grain of salt, and I'm not going to take anything at face value. In fact, I'm extremely skeptical about most of the things I've heard, but I'm not going to be completely disappointed if they're all real. Or actually, no, I'm not going to be happy if they're all real, but if some of them are real, I'm going to be a little excited. So, it's a pair of games called Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Now, right off the bat, the names are unique and not in a good way. And by not in a good way, I mean that the names suggest that they're not real. The names have English characters, even in the Japanese logos, and that's not normal based on previous experiences. Now, there's nothing stopping them from inventing a new title or like going more, I don't know, Western with the names. There's nothing stopping them from doing that. My point is that unless we know for a fact that they are trying to be completely different from before, this is only hinting that we should not take this seriously. It may be fake. Now, the premise of these new games is that they take place in Kanto, and it's another remake of Pokemon Generation 1, specifically a remake of Yellow. That by itself is concerning because everyone expected it to follow the same recipe as before. Ever since Generation 3, every generation started with a new game in a new region, which was followed by a remake in an old region, except for, I suppose, Generations 5 and 7. 5 and 7 broke this trend by remaking or making a sequel to their own generation games. So, if you're not familiar, in Generation 5 they made Black 2 and White 2 instead of remaking a previous generation, and in Gen 7 they made Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon instead of remaking Gen 4 like everyone expected. Now, everyone's expecting a Gen 4 remake on the Switch, if not in Generation 8, then really soon, but there's no hints of that yet. I mean, there are some rumors, but obviously there's nothing concrete yet, and everyone's excited about it because Gen 4 was a really good generation, and I personally loved Gen 4 because it was my first generation. It's like, that's what was my first generation of playing the games. So a Gen 4 remake would be really good, and on the Switch no less, it'd be great. But so far, what we have is a Generation 1 remake, a Yellow remake. And that's strange because it's a remake right off the bat, right after Generation 7 ended. Generation 8 is coming up just across the horizon, even closer than that, and instead of making a new game, we get rumors for a remake before anything else? That's weird. It's not impossible, they can do what they want, but it's suspicious. It's just not, it doesn't feel right. So I'm gonna judge that maybe, but probably not. If you don't want to believe these things, then that's the smart thing to do. But if you're certain that this is real, well, then you can believe what you want, but prepare to be disappointed, or at least consider the possibility of being disappointed by the rumors and leaks, because so far that's all they are. Now, some people have made artwork and hinting, like it's just fan-based stuff. And it's an interesting concept, going back to Kanto. Now, I was never a big fan of Kanto or Generations 1 and 2. And the virtual console releases of, Gen 1 and Gen 2, that was exciting for the, older fans, but to me, they weren't that great, because, again, I started playing back in Generation 4. A lot later than the true veterans from Gen 1 and Gen 2. So there are a lot of rumors and details and supposed leaks, but I'm not gonna confirm anything because none of them are confirmed. If you've heard people say they're confirmed, they're not as of this moment, so well, we'll see. And I'm gonna look over some of the things I've heard from being leaked on the internet, and well, they're called real leaks, but of course that's not what they are as of this moment. So Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are yellow remix for the Switch. 2 versions, Pikachu and Eevee. So far, everything here is not impossible. I would even call it believable. Red and Blue play a role in the story. You and your rival are new trainers. That's basically Pokemon Yellow, obviously. But you know what I'm interested in? I want to know exactly what's the difference between Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, because we don't know anything specific about what's different between them. The mascots are Pikachu and Eevee. That's not even a legendary or even actual starters like the original Red and Blue. Are you forced to choose Pikachu in the Pikachu version and Eevee in the Eevee version? Or can you choose either one in either version? Or do you get to choose if you play Red or Blue? Because that's something that has never been done before. Ever since Generation 6 and 7, you get to customize your character at the beginning, with gender, skin color, even clothes later on, but to choose between actual characters, Red or Blue, that's not suggested here, but I'm just speculating. It says following Pokemon return. That's good. They've done that back in, let's see, Pikachu follows you in Pokemon Yellow, and any Pokemon can follow you around in Johto, especially Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I like that. That is something that people have wanted and were almost sure that was happening in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. In fact, when the trailers for Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon came out, I was 100% certain, and I told you guys that Pokemon were following you around in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. And I was wrong. They were just, standard Pokemon on certain areas that would follow you around if you play with them, but they weren't your Pokemon and they don't follow you around everywhere. So I was wrong about that. And this leak is claiming that in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, following Pokemon return. Now, again, I don't know if these leaks are real, but if they are, then it's completely believable that following Pokemon return, especially on such a higher definition, more advanced device as the Switch. It's going to look good. The graphics will look good. So I'm definitely hoping for that. That's something that I'm hoping for. It says HMs still replaced with Pokeride from Alola. That's good. HMs are, hated by everyone, and Pokeride is just more efficient and more convenient. No complaints there. Online has a hub for players. That's great. Pokemon Go integration. That's pretty good. But then it says catching Pokemon works like in Go. I assumed when it says catching Pokemon works like in Go that they were overriding the mechanics completely of damaging the Pokemon, since you don't do that in Go. You just throw a Pokeball or maybe a berry if you want. But they meant the animation of you choose how to throw the Pokemon, which, on a touch screen is good, but it's difficult for, when you put your Switch with the TV and stuff. I don't have a Switch just yet, so I don't know the exact terms. But yeah, I've heard people say that this is bad because unless you're playing with the handheld Switch, if you're connected with the TV, then throwing the Pokemon's not going to work because you're just going to have to flick like on a Wii U or like with the handheld device, and that's just, no one's gonna like that. But it is interesting that catching Pokemon works like in Go, because that they've never done that before. Obviously, you just you choose your Pokeball and the game throws it. But in Go, you have to manually, spin the ball and whatever. That I don't know. I have mixed feelings. Let's leave it at that. Rewards in game and in Go for linking the two together. That's understandable if the previous leaks about the integration is correct. New accessory can be used with both Go and the games. That's understandable. Announcements soon, releasing this year. So overall, I was completely doubtful about these leaks, because if we look back, people thought that Z would follow X and Y, but it didn't. People thought stars would follow Sun and Moon, but it didn't. And there were countless leaks over the years that have never, ever been true. But there have been leaks that were true. So, obviously, I can't just doubt everything. So, in conclusion, I'm going to say that I am more convinced now than I was 5 minutes ago after reading through these in detail. But again, I will not claim anything in any direction. You all have to wait until official confirmation. And if you're wondering when that is, I just heard that an announcement which is extremely hoped to involve Generation 8 or Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, or something to do with the new Pokemon Switch games, it's next week. Around, if I'm checking my calendar, around the 28th or the 29th, sometime next week, in just less than a week, in a few days, is when the announcement is due, or at least that's what I heard. I may be wrong. And the announcement may be about something else. It could be about nothing, or maybe there is no announcement at all. But I heard that the announcement is next week, and I'm extremely hopeful that it's going to be Gen 8. And part of me wishes for a completely new game, new region, the usual formula. But if they're doing remakes of Yellow and everything I just read is true, well, it's not the end of the world. It's actually kind of interesting. It's strange, but it's interesting. And, well, true Pokemon fans will play anything.
Shut up and take my money!
Without complaint. I'm just hoping that whatever's announced next week, that it is good, and I hope you guys will be here when I look over the announcement next week when it happens. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment, share with a friend, and see you guys next time.
That's all I have to say about that.